say we out here grinding, we working. I say we out here grinding, we working. I say we out here grinding, we working. I say we out here grinding, we working. Tell me how to do it and I do. Fueling my ambition like I'm filling up a pool. Ain't my choice, but it's up to me to choose. Hammer out my goals like I'm working with my tools. On the same page like the headline news. Even Jimmy Fallon couldn't shake me out my roots. Best foot forward like we dancing with a groove. We gon' stay grinding till we all make a move.
Hey Allentown, my name is Mrs. Wight and I am a school counselor at Dodd Elementary over on the south side, right down the hill from South Mountain Middle School. I have been creating career videos for my students since we've been working from home. Normally in the spring, all of the school counselors at the elementary level invite different career speakers in to give the students a glimpse of different careers and options that are out there. Since we can't go and meet people face to face right now, and since we can't invite them to our school to speak to us, I thought maybe I could send them questions, have the speakers record themselves, and then send the video back to me, and I could share it with all the students, kind of as a virtual career fair. I was talking to the other elementary counselors last week, and they thought this would be really neat to send out to all of the elementary students and not just my kiddos over at Dodd. So from now on, I am going to be shared with all of you in ASD. I'll give you a little rundown of how this usually works. Each week, I send questions out. People record themselves answering the questions and talking about their different careers, and they send their video back to me. Then I do a little intro like this, and I actually do it in my daughter's playroom. So at some point you might hear her yelling or talking or screaming. And then when I'm done talking, the video transitions into the other speakers and it goes to their answers. So you'll hear them talking about their careers and different choices they've made. And what it takes to get where they are, things like that. I try really hard to get a lot of local speakers, people that live in Allentown, came from Allentown, still work here, things like that. The past, I've been focusing on essential workers since we are in this stay-at-home order right now in Pennsylvania. And that means that Governor Wolf, who is in charge of Pennsylvania, he decided that to keep everyone as safe as possible, he wanted everyone, if possible, to stay home. So he created, with his leadership team, a list of essential jobs. Those are jobs that still need to continue working while we're all at home. So sometimes they work from home, completing those essential jobs, and sometimes they still have to go into work, such as, a doctor that's going to the hospital, or a cop that's still out patrolling, things like that. So far from my videos, I have interviewed medical professionals, doctors, nurses, things like that. I've done first responders, police, EMTs, firefighters. I've done delivery and transportation, the Postal Service and FedEx, things like that are still out there delivering during our stay-at-home order. I even talked about being a plumber and the options that our students have through LCTI locally to get a trade job like that. I actually took my shower apart and tried to fix it on camera. This week for the video, we are going to be watching and hearing from several different people that work for the U.S. military. And there are several different branches in our military here in the United States of America. We have the Army, the Navy, the Marines, the Air Force, the Coast Guard, and some people will consider the, reserves and National Guard, things like that, also a different branch. What that means is, just like many different companies or businesses, there are different departments. So the military as a whole is this big business, this big organization right here. And then there are different departments or branches that all work together to help the military achieve its goal of keeping everyone here in America and all of Americans that are traveling abroad to other countries or working in other countries. The military's goal is to keep us all safe. There are a few different ways to get involved in the military once you are old enough. Our local high schools, Allen and Deerhoff, offer what's called the Junior ROTC program, and that allows the students to learn and be trained as a soldier while they're also going to high school. And then if they choose to continue on in the military after high school, since they've already had a little bit of training, they will be classified as a higher rank. So that's one option. You can also enlist after high school, and you'll talk to a recruiter. They'll have you take an ASVAB, or it's a military assessment test, and it'll tell you things that you're really good at and jobs that you might be interested in based on your strengths. A third way you could get involved in the military is through a military university here in America. And we have a couple different ones. But they are not like your regular college or university. They're not, like Penn State or L-Tri-C or anything like that. They are training you as a soldier and as a student at the same time. So it's a lot harder work. The responsibility is much greater than if you were just going to a regular university and achieving your degree. The military universities are free, however. So with hard work, there's a big payoff. So as you get older and you start to think about what career you want, or if you want to go to college, you'll start to discuss, maybe with your grown-ups at home and the school, things like that, the cost of the different programs you're looking at and what you'll end up paying to go to college, things like that. So the military universities have a big positive push, or a positive pull, I guess, for a lot of students that are interested in the military and also want to get a really great education for free. The career speakers today, I have a U.S. Marine who actually went to William Allen High School. She's from Allentown. She is a female. She is an E8, which I believe is the second highest rank she can achieve in the Marines. And she has been in the Marines for 20 years, and currently she actually sent me her video from Japan. So I was communicating with her through my assistant principal over at Dodd, and she filmed her video in Japan, and then through technology was able to send it to me. So you'll hear from her, and she has a really cool perspective because she talks about growing up in Allentown and how she went to our schools right here and how she worked really hard to get a great career for herself. I also have a naval officer who has a really neat job, because when I think of the Navy, I think of ships and the water and things like that. And he is actually a aviation mechanic. So he works on the helicopters that the Navy has. So that's really neat. I also have Major Page, who runs the Junior ROTC program at Deerhoff High School. And he will talk a little bit more about what that means and how to get involved in Junior ROTC and things like that. And it was really important for me to share with all of you, because that is a very realistic option for you, since it's offered at two of our high schools right here in Allentown. Junior ROTC is offered at Allen and also offered at Deerhoff. So it's a very realistic option. It's something that you could get involved in. And he'll talk more about that in his video. He actually created a slideshow of some pictures for you guys to see as well. And then last up today, but not least, I have a midshipman at the United States Naval Academy. And his mom actually helped me do the interview. And to some of you, maybe if you're at Washington or Ramos, you might hear a familiar voice in that video. And his mom is actually Mrs. Zaharakis, the school counselor at Ramos and previously at Washington. So you'll hear Mrs. Z interviewing her son a little bit as he describes what it's like to be a junior at the U.S. Naval Academy. So he's actually in his third year of college at a United States military university right here in the US, and he's going to describe what that means, what his plans are after graduation, and some benefits and positives to enrolling at a military university, as well as joining the military. I also want to add that at the end of the video today, you'll see pictures of the other elementary school counselors here in Allentown, and I wanted to put that in with their contact information so that if you or your family right now needs any help or you have any questions, please reach out to us. You know, as the elementary counselors, we went into our jobs to make sure that we could help and keep kids and families, you know, happy and safe. And I know right now it's really stressful, and it's probably one of the harder experiences that your children and your families have gone through. And any way that we can help, we absolutely will. So please, at the end of the video, make sure you take note of your child's school counselor, and kids, make sure you tell your parents who your school counselor is. And if you have any questions or concerns, like I said, you are struggling with food, you're struggling with rent, you're struggling with an illness or anything like that, or you have questions about career, please, anything that we can do to help, reach out to us, and we will be sure to get back to you as soon as we can. And now, without further ado, I've done my rambling. Big thank you to all of our speakers today that took time out of their day and sat down to record a video for us and to share their experiences with you. So huge thanks to them, and also a huge thanks to all of our military personnel here in America, overseas, retired, everything like that. Thank you for protecting us, keeping us safe, and doing so without asking for anything in return. We are lucky to live here, and we are lucky that you are watching over us and taking care of us so that we can continue on with our daily lives right here in Allentown as best as possible. All right, everyone, I will see you next week.
Good morning, William Allen High School. My name is Jezebel Quadro. I used to be Jezebel Pichardo. If you're a basketball fanatic, or if you even walk through the gym, I'm a 1,000-point scorer, so my name is somewhere on the banners in your high school still till this day. I grew up in Allentown on 13th and Liberty. I am Dominican. There is a way out of Allentown. You just got to leave. You just got to go. I left Allentown in 2001 and I joined the Marine Corps. Just like you, I didn't have good grades. Or you do have good grades, or I was out in the streets and I was hanging out with the wrong crowds and I wasn't doing any of the right things. So I was an ROTC, which benefited me. It gave me the points to come out, go into boot camp and come out in higher ranking as anyone else. Your guidance counselor asked for some feedback. So I'm just gonna kind of go off this list for her. I am a first sergeant in the United States Marine Corps. You can start at E1 through E9. I'm an E8. I'm in charge of over 200 Marines, and right now they are currently in Guam, assisting with the COVID-19 systemic that we have going on in this world right now. And then I also have another 100 and something Marines elsewhere doing live world missions. So we are definitely in a fight in this world, and us as Marines, we do what others don't want to do, and we protect you while you're in the States getting your education and doing good things, but we take care of the world while you sleep at night. So I'm really proud of what I do. Currently I live in Japan. I love it here. It's the best place I've ever been, and I could stay here forever if I could, but that's not the plan. But I do have a degree. It took me a long time to get it because I didn't pay attention in school in Allen. I slept through most of my classes. I just took it as a joke, and I didn't take it seriously. So, the Marine Corps was an option for me at that time because I didn't go to school. My family didn't have money to send me to school, and it got me out of Allentown, and it got me in a place where I needed to be. I didn't think so at the moment, but now 20 years in, I've been in the Marine Corps 20 years, and I will retire in January with a full pension, full paycheck at 38 years old. So, if you're looking in the military, that could be a way for you. What I love about my job, I love everything about my job. I love that I can mentor, guide, and lead. I love that I'm physically fit, and the Marine Corps requires me to be physically fit. I'm trained to do amazing things, and I serve my country. Most importantly, I serve my country, and I serve the Corps, and I do things for people, and I help people in ways that they don't even know, and they can't even imagine. And it does well for my family. I am married. I have 3 kids. And it gives me everything that I need. I have money, I have a house, I have cars, I live well, I do well, and I do amazing things here. So I'm very proud of what I do as a Marine. What are some challenges? Challenges there are a lot of challenges. Just like you have challenges, I have challenges. I'm away from home. I have some family still now in town, some family in New York. My mom and dad live in Florida, so I'm away from most of my family most of the time. But I know there's a bigger picture, and there's a bigger, something bigger out there for me and what I'm doing. So I'm really proud of that. What do I want you to know about my Marines? My Marines right now are doing some real life missions. You don't see it. You may see the news or not really watch the news because you're really not interested right now. You're probably doing TikTok and Facebook and things like that. But they are doing some amazing things out there, and they're 18, 19 years old, doing things that some other kids don't want to do, and what the world doesn't want to do. And I'm proud of them. The Marine Corps watches the world while you sleep at night, if there's a better way to put that. So I am from where you're from. There is a possibility to leave where you're from. I have a bachelor's degree. I'm working on a master's degree. There is life outside of Allentown, so I want you to know that. I did play basketball in the Marine Corps. I still play basketball. There's more out there for you. I wish I would have paid more attention in school. I wish I would have got better grades. I wish that I would have done more for my family, saved more money, got jobs, but I didn't. I didn't do that. So I chose something different, and I struggled a little bit, but it came out better for me in the long run. So William Allen High School, I'm proud of you. I'm proud to be from you, where you're from. I want you to know that I am living proof that it can be done. There is a life out there, and you just got to work hard, stay clean, be kind to each other. The world is a better place when you do that. So, Jezebel Pichardo out.
Hi, I'm Major Tim Page from the Air Force Junior ROTC program at Deerf High School in Allentown, Pennsylvania. I'm the Senior Aerospace Science Instructor at PA 11, and Senior Master Sergeant Chuck Yo is my co-instructor here. To be an ROTC instructor, you have to serve on active duty more than 20 years. During this time that we are stuck at home rather than being in the classroom, we can take this opportunity to communicate in other ways. Today, I want to tell you a little bit about the Junior ROTC program at Deerf High School, some guidelines, and some of the benefits of the program. The Junior ROTC program at Deerf is an elective class, but it encompasses so much more. Besides the information we give our students on aerospace science and leadership education, we also have a part of the organization that is run just by cadets. Each cadet fills a position in one of our divisions, such as personnel, logistics, operations, standards and evaluations, and so on. This is where the cadets get hands-on knowledge on how an organization actually works. In addition, the cadets also run activities such as drill teams, marksmanship, modeling, archery, and rocketry. These activities give cadets an opportunity to put their leadership and management skills to work, as well as create fun events for the Cadet Corps. But there are some things that you need to be aware of if you want to be in a program such as this. This program requires a lot of commitment. The cadets arrive at 6:30 a.m. 2 days a week for physical training and uniform inspection. Actually, our drill teams run their drill practices at 06:30 every morning. and then again Monday through Thursday after school until 4 p.m. The drill teams are voluntary, but this dedication is why they are #1 drill team in the region and bring home many trophies from competitions they participate in throughout the school year. The cadets wear an ROTC uniform 2 days a week on PT days and a uniform inspection. The uniform they wear is the same uniform that the active duty Air Force wears, and they are proud to represent our great Air Force. There are no obligations to join the military after high school if you're in this program, but our program does have many other benefits. You're part of the Air Force Junior ROTC family. Cadets look out for each other. They support each other. You will gain many skills and confidence because of the opportunities and events that the program provides. We have many activities that the cadets participate in during the school year that is outside the classroom. Things like our Baton Memorial hike, where we take a group of cadets on a 14-mile hike. And we have many field trips and to places like the Air Force Museum, Pentagon, Washington, D.C., sometimes even on aircraft of the Air Force. And this is where cadets can see the history and power of our military in sciences. The ROTC is a class. You just simply need to speak to your guidance counselor and ask them to add it to your schedule. We invite you to check us out and join this great program. During this time, please be sure to stay home, stay safe, and save lives. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Christian Stegner. I am a Petty Officer First Class in the United States Navy. My current job is a aviation machinist mate. So what does that mean? I am an aircraft mechanic on the helicopter, on the MH-60 Sierra helicopter, which is one of the many different aircraft the Navy utilizes to fulfill its mission. Right now, during this time, my job is considered essential because those missions that the Navy flies into has to be met, as far as it could be anti-piracy, anti-submarine, or even just providing humanitarian aid. These helicopters provide a lot of that mission, and they do a lot of that job. I chose this career because growing up, I've always enjoyed having tools in my hand and working on engines and just fixing things. And I've always had a fascination with aircraft. I've always enjoyed being around aircraft. So the Navy was just a great way for me to get into a career in aviation. And the training that we go through while we're in the Navy is very intensive. There's a lot of classroom time, and there's also a lot of on-the-job training time. So we have to show constant proficiencies and qualifications to do what we do in the Navy. So it's very intensive stuff. A degree is not required to work on the helicopters while in the Navy. However, it is highly encouraged and recommend that you do go out and get one, especially the higher ranking that you go while you're in the Navy. For me, I did go out and get one in maintenance and mechanics. It's just a degree that's more in line with what I do and what I'm trying to achieve as a goal later on. What do I like about my job? What I like most about my job is just working with different people throughout our country. So there's a lot of different traditions and cultures out there, and the Navy is a great opportunity for all these different people to come together and work together, and I get to share in their cultures and traditions. So it really is a lot of fun, and you really get to really learn how diverse our country really is. The second part that I like about my job is just training. I love training junior sailors, new sailors that come into the Navy, and they want to learn more about the aircraft, and I enjoy teaching them and showing them how to be proficient at their job and just watching them grow throughout their Navy career. So that's another part that I enjoy the most while in the Navy. The challenge that we meet in the Navy is because we are in the military, we deploy 6-7 months out of the time out of the year. So that creates a lot of problems, misconnections with friends and family, but the Navy does do a good job to mitigate a lot of those issues as far as FaceTime, email, and just regular mail. So we can still stay connected with friends and family stateside while we are gone abroad. Superhero friends of mine, currently right now, my superhero friends of mine are these sailors stationed aboard the USNS Comfort that is currently pierside in New York City. Their main job is to provide a lot of support due to the COVID-19 virus that is currently out in New York City. So I have a lot of friends and sailors on that ship that are helping in that humanitarian aid. So those are my heroes right now that I look up to in the Navy. That's pretty much everything I do in the Navy. It's a great career choice. I'm very happy that I did join the Navy. I enjoy working on aircraft, and I just enjoy meeting new people. That's really what the Navy's all about, is just working together and achieving a common goal, common mission. So thank you for watching, and have a great day. Bye.
Okay. What is your name and job title?
I'm Dina Zyrakis. I'm a midshipman in the Navy, so really I'm just a college student at the Naval Academy. It's not really a job yet. My job will start once I graduate.
So what exactly is a midshipman? What makes it different than being at a regular college?
You have a lot of rules you have to follow, so I can't leave campus Monday through Thursday. I have to be in a uniform Monday through Friday when I go to school. And you also wake up a little bit earlier than most people, and they check in on you a lot more.
Okay. And what made you decide to join the military or seek a career path?
I just want to do something important, and it seemed good and fun.
What's your favorite part of your training? Like, I know in the summers you go for different trainings. What's your favorite part of learning those skills?
You just learn a lot, and usually they're really fun. So the ones I did last year were approach mid, where I got to see each community, what they do. So jets, marines, submarines, and ships. And then actually before that, I did something called air assault, which like rappelling out of really just rappelling, but I got to rappel out of a helicopter at the end. That was pretty cool. And then last year I did plebe summer, where I was kind of indoctrinating these group of high school students into the military and into the academy as best I could. So it was pretty fun.
So you were training the new midshipmen coming in, and the trainings like jumping out of the helicopter and things like that. Like, how would you use that in your future?
It just depends what community you go into. You might not. You might use it, you might not. But it's just a good thing to know. Makes you more versatile.
Okay. Do you get paid?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
you
how does that work?
$100 a month as a plebe, so that's when you're a freshman. Then as a sophomore, $200. Now $300 for me. I'm junior, and then as a senior, it's usually about $500, I think, a month.
Okay, and then are you guaranteed a job when you graduate from the Naval Academy?
As long as you don't quit the Naval Academy or get kicked out, yeah.
Okay, and what kind of job? Like, can you give me an example of the kind of jobs
You could
people
be
have?
a service warfare officer, which is you drive the ships in the Navy. You could be a submarine officer, you drive a submarine on a Navy. You could be any type of pilot, just regular planes, jets, helicopters. You could do really anything in the Navy as an officer, and anything in the Marines as an officer.
And what's the difference between being an officer and being somebody who just joins right out of high school?
The officer technically is responsible for more than one person, so probably anywhere from 5 to 40 people when you come out of the academy. So their role is more overarching, right? Mm-hmm. And then you have the enlisted, who are more, they have more specific jobs. So as an officer, you're kind of trying to get everyone to work well together to accomplish whatever your goal is.
So you're more leading and managing.
Yeah,
the
but,
tasks and
but
the
as an
projects.
officer, it's not only the officer leads. They're also really they're enlisted, who have been there way longer than you and know way more. So they also do a lot leading. So the officer does lead a little bit too, but
they work together.
Yeah, they work together.
Okay. Did you need specific training before you started at the Naval Academy?
No, you just have to go through plebe summer, which is what they do for all the students coming in.
But were there certain requirements you had to meet in order to be accepted to the program?
Yeah, you just have to have pretty good grades, and you take a physical test, so like running and everything like that. You take a drug test. You take like a bunch of medical tests too, so eyesight.
To make sure you're physically fit.
Color blindness and everything, but you can go if you're colorblind. You just be limited into what you can do. Mm-hmm. So you should really look if you have some kind of medical condition. See if this will take you, because it might.
What's something that you really like about being a midshipman?
I like the people there, and it's exciting that I'm gonna have a job that I'm really gonna like. I'm really sure of that. It doesn't matter what I get. I think I'll be really happy with anything.
Okay, and what's the most challenging part?
School. Schoolwork is really hard at the academy.
Okay. If you did not get into the U.S. Naval Academy, what would you have done to achieve your goals? Would you have done something different?
Yeah, I probably would have done ROTC at a college. So you go to college, and ROTC is kind of like the academy. They have military training while you're a regular student. And then once you graduate, you go to something called OCS, Officer Candidate School. I'm not sure how long it is. It's a few months, and then after that, you become commissioned and become an officer.
Okay. And what are the other ways?
Sorry.
What are the other ways that you could enter military service?
You can also enlist, which is a great option. So, right after high school, you just talk to your recruiter. I actually talked to the recruiter too. You talk to the recruiter. You take something called an ASVAB. It's like a aptitude test to see what you'd be good at, and then they'll tell you how you can go in, and that's anything to Air Force, Navy, Marines, or Army.
Okay. This is an interesting question. What do you want people to know about your superhero coworkers, which means the people that you work with every day? Is there something unique or that you think would be interesting for kids to know about what you're doing?
I just think they're really good people. Everyone I've met, and I'm not just saying that, like probably I would say like 90 to 95% of people I consider like really good people. So that's pretty rare to find anywhere. So they're just really good people.
Okay, and what advice do you have for kids who think they might want to join the military? Because we do, we talk to a lot of kids, they say they want to be a soldier. They want to be in the Army because that's basically what they know about. Well, what advice would you have for them?
I would talk to the recruiters. I know recruiters come to your school, or at least they will in high school. So don't be afraid to just talk to them. Because you talk to them doesn't mean you're signing up. Just talk to them, see what they've done. But even more than talking to a recruiter, I'd rather talk to someone who's been in. Because sometimes the recruiters will make things sound better than they are. Not that I'm saying they're lying, they just might embellish some stuff. So talk to, if you know somebody who's been in, talk to them because they'll give you a really good view. But sometimes even better than that would be to read books or listen to podcasts. I'd stay away from movies just because, or TV shows, just because a lot of times it's a little bit embellished, I would say.
Sensationalized.
Made this seem like a little bit greater
Better
than it
than
really
it
is.
is.
Yeah.
So you're basically saying they just need to really do a lot of investigating and research. And is that what you did when you were starting to think about it?
Yeah, I think so. So I think reading was pretty cool. I'm trying to think of any really good books I read. I just read this one called One Bullet Away last summer. That was pretty good. It's about the Marines. I'm reading one now called... I can't even think what it's called. It's called Into the Fire by Dakota Meyer. I would look up podcasts and stuff like that. That's really good. So Dakota Meyer's a really great guy to look up. I really like him. You can just look up a lot of stuff. World War II, all this stuff.
Okay. What's one of the really unique things about getting college education at one of the military academies?
One, it's really good. It's considered one of the best colleges in the country, and also it's free, which is really big too. So,
what do you mean by free?
Like you don't have to pay anything. They pay for room and board, tuition, everything, your food. So it's really free.
When you went to school, you literally did not have to take anything with you.
Yeah, I just showed up with the backpack and whatever I was wearing. I don't even know what I had in my backpack. Actually, I don't even think I had a backpack. I don't know, but I just showed up, and they give you everything you need. Okay,
and then the payback is how many years do you have to serve?
It depends on what you would service like. So if you go to the academy, like I said, you could be a pilot, you could be a sub officer, a Marine, whatever. So usually it's 5 years. If you're a pilot, it's 7 because you have 7 to 9 because you have 2 years after, and then you have to pay that 2 years back. So really, it's 7 years on top of that. So it's 9 years since you graduate. You have 2 for flight school and then 7 actually flying. Mm-hmm. And there's certain communities that are a little bit more too. Like if you go become a doctor, it's going to be more.
Right. So the more training they give you, the more years back of service you have to get.
Yeah.
What do you want to do after you graduate and you get commissioned? What would be your dream if you could just call the shots?
I don't really know like what I'll do, but my number 1 right now would be Navy EOD, and then 2 would be Marines.
And what's EOD?
It's explosive ordnance disposal, so they help disarm bombs, and they're attached to other units, so they help them out like that.
Can you describe a little bit more about all the different kinds of jobs there are in the military, no matter if you're in the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, the Coast Guard? What kind of jobs are you preparing to do with your friends?
Well, there's a lot of different jobs you can get, and you can get a really good idea of those by going online, going to each website, Army, Navy, Marines, or Air Force, or Coast Guard too, and see what they do. But there's a general idea on the Navy, so that's kind of what I know the most about. Like on a ship, you can do a lot of things. You can help out with the guns, help out with navigation, help drive the boat, work on the engines, cook food, because they have to have cooks, so there's always cooks, they're always cooking. There's damage control people, like if something would happen to the ship, they're the ones who know how to fix it the best, electricians, mechanics, stuff like that, even plumbers.
Yeah, it sounds like if you can pursue all kinds of different careers within the military to help your country.
And something that a lot of people do when they enlist is like, because you're, say in the Navy, right, and you have all these different jobs, you be an electrician, a plumber, a mechanic, then when you come out, you already have the education and have experience, so it looks really good. So that's another thing to think about. If maybe you want to go to school for something, well, the Navy will put you through school, and then you work for them, and then after that, it's whatever. But the Navy's cool because you get to see the world. Hopefully you're on a ship. Hopefully you get to go around, see the world. But the Army has a bunch of things. You can be like an engineer, infantry, which is like the fighting guys, artillery. They pretty much shoot cannons, a bunch of stuff. And that's the same in the Marines. There's logistics. There's so many things.
25th Company is commanded by Midshipman Lieutenant Patrick Simmons of Westbury, New York.